Welcome back. Once again, it's time for the Comics Coffee Table. That's right, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern daily, when we sit down and we discuss our hobby, comic books. We do. And it's Sunday. Happy Sunday. You know what that means. It's new comic book release, new release review day. And I was just giving my executive producer some grief. Not Grief Karga. I actually know who that is now. But for not setting up the show. Not giving me proper windows to open to be like, hey, we're doing a review show. We're doing a review show. We're the funny books. Right here in the ubiquitous brown paper flat of funnies that we get from our funny book bodega. And it's filled with comic books. We also get what I refer to as a pirate treasure chest full of Marvel funny books. Let's count the funny books inside my pirate chest. Pirate chest! That's my nickname for a buddy of mine shares his digital copies with me. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 Marvel magazines I read this week. I am up to date. In continuity. Ask me anything. Not. And for DC funnies, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did I even read that one? No, I didn't. 10, 11, 12, 13. Is that right? We have 13 this week? We can double check that. Let's just double check that. It's the wrong pirate chest. Arg. How are you doing? Happy Sunday. I hope your football team wins, unless you are living in Miami. And that we read a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 DC comics. I only read a few of them. There's a couple I didn't read, like Joker, One Operation Joker, number 9, which is a manga. Then I just noticed I didn't read Power Girl issue number 2. Want to do that now? Oh, gosh. I can't do it. I had this and I didn't read it. Oh, give me a second. Okay, after consideration, and Power Girl number 2 wasn't that bad. Oh, we'll get to that, sure. But it was one of the 15 DC comics that was in my DC pirate booty. 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 I like saying the word booty. And 18 in my Marvel box. Wow, what should we do first? Should we do paper copies or digital copies? Let's do digital copies, and let's do DC because we started off here. Yeah, so let's just Power Girl number 2. It was Leah Williams wrote this. She gets a lot of crap because she's a girl. I just said that. But she also has to be good at her job too. No one cares two craps of what's on your chest. It's what's in your heart. It's what's in your heart and in your head. Geez, it makes me want some kind of. So Power Girl number 2. It's just, is this Power Girl was her first appearance in Doomsday Clock number 7 as well? Was everybody's first appearance in Doomsday Clock number 7? Is that what we're talking about now? Is that current iteration? Is that... I mean, I'm literally asking a DC Universe question right now. I'll throw that out there on Twitter for like the entire... I need to ask everyone. I need to know. I mean, I need some context. Who is this Power Girl? She's not Karen Starr. She's not our Earth 2 Power Girl. So she shouldn't have... So this is not the Power Girl that has the relationship with Val Zod Superman on Earth 2. I'm confused. Which is kind of nice and usual for a comic book situation, especially with superhero comic books. That you always need some kind of info dump or filling in, or you have to go hunt down the information yourself in back issues. Or in conversation at the comic book shop. So, but who is Power Girl? And the pencils are really nice. I mean, honestly, the art in it's stellar. The fight scenes are really good. Eduardo Pansica did the pencils. Julio Ferreira did the inker. And here's a name I hear a lot of the time too. Romulo Fajardo Jr. is the colorist. I see his name everywhere. Kind of like how I see Atsume Alahu's name everywhere for lettering these days. He's just so... That Hansel, he's so hot. Yes, that's right. Romulo Fajardo Jr. is like the hot colorist. He really knows how to make purple pop. I read Amazon's Attack number 1. Written by Josie Campbell. This is about Wonder Woman. This is really steeped in the lore and mythology of Wonder Woman. I mean, the art was okay. It's all just girl fights. It's fine. It's 4 girls made for girls. It's like, you know what I mean? I could follow it and kind of enjoy it, I guess. Mary Marvel's in it. I love Mary Marvel, and wish they made Mary Marvel cuter. You know what I mean? But it's okay. Apparently Mary Marvel now gets her powers through Amazon goddesses. So her Shazam might be a different acronym at this point. So she's hanging... And apparently there are 3 different states of Amazons. There's like Themyscira, and then there are 2 other like colonies or cultures that matter, that they all have iconic looking flags. And maybe when you put the flags together and unfocus your eyes, it makes a giant Robo Beast Zord. Back to action. Wrong franchise. I read a little bit of Batman Brave and the Bold. I opened it up. I don't think I got very far. Did I read this? And no, I didn't. And this is one of the premier Batman books out there. It seems to be for a lot more pencils and inks lately. Maybe what the thing I've been noticing about digital art, maybe that's a phase. Maybe that was the lockdown pencils down thing, because I've just noticed of art and the issues of all of these little stories here overall has gotten better, I think. And I think there's been more pencil inkers. So maybe there was a huge span of time recently that it looks like crappy. No, it's not. It just doesn't look finer. I know it's comic books. It's not supposed to be. It can be great, but it doesn't have to look like it was sketched out on an iPad on a bumpy bus 30 minutes before showtime, before deadline. I hit Sensies. Yaysies. I made the art. See, that's mean to say. I know, because, But yeah, I didn't really read Batman Brave and the Bold, kind of. Also, I barely opened Detective Comics 1075 by Ram the Fifth. Ram V. I'll get back to this, because this is like, I hear a huge slow burn. What happened to my page? What happened to my page? Okay. But it's got great art. I love Francisco Francavilla, and he does Batman 1075. And then there are 2 backup features. It's Batman. It's tech. Come and get it. Action Comics came out this week. I bought that. I got a paper copy of that. We'll talk about that on paper. We have Cy Spurrier's The Flash #2. I'm a huge Flash fan, a huge Wally West fan. I read it, and it's okay. And I'm so glad I'm not buying it. Mike Deodato Jr. has amazing line work, but it's all this digital crap that they put on top of it. And it just doesn't, it's Zipatone filters, and it's I know it's done for effect. It's like is it working? I don't know. It's just, it looks so fake and artificial. I don't know. Green Arrow #5. Now, see, here's a magazine that's made for fans. Perfectly good example of like, here you go. Like, there's nothing. They don't make anything for old fans anymore. Well, no, they do. Check out Green Arrow. I just opened up one I hadn't gotten to yet. The Force of July are hanging out with the Penguin over on Tom King. It can only, and I haven't read it yet. I know the Forces of July is this patriotic American themed fabricated superhero team that always ends up getting killed badly. Yeah, and it's just Oswald Ozzlepod. Oswald Cobblepot, anyone? And just there's always the swear jokes, and there's just this purple, and there's lowercase, and there's uppercase, and oh good, I hit pause because I've been looking at this, scanning this Tom King book. Wow. Okay. I'm glad I did that. I was going to skip this out of judgment. Not out of judgment, just, well, because I read the first issue. Did I skip the second issue? I mean, because sometimes Tom King bores me pretty darn quick, and he's pretty consistent. Look, I'm not throwing shade at Tom King. I've thrown enough shade at Tom King. He doesn't care. Why should you? Or why should I? He's the only comics writer to have blocked me on Twitter that I can respect for blocking me on Twitter, because I deserved it and I earned it. It was at Heroes in Crisis, and I let him have it. I walked away from comics for a few years. I only came back to comics last year, especially through Wes and the gang at Thinking Critical and his Saturday panel show, Comics Aficionados. And thank you so much. If you tuned in yesterday, I consider it being on Wes's bench that he hit me up at the last minute a few times, and hey, can you get in the show? So bailed, and I'm like, yeah, I got that. I can do that. I like being on that show. I like talking comic books. I like talking comic books with that gang and that live chat. It's where I met most of you, and I see most of you out there too in that live chat. So, it's what a great experience to be on that show. But yeah, I walked away from comics because of Tom King, and I came back to comics because of everyone here. I'm not making this up. I'm reading what he writes down. Just the talent, and he meant that. These are the two best Tom King comic books I've ever read. They came out both this week, and I'm fine saying good things about him. I want to be able to like Tom King stories. I just don't. It's just not my flavor. And Penguin #3 has all of those intrinsic flavors, yes. But it's the way he handles it, and with whom, too. I mean, this for me works. I like this. This is like a Tarantino thing. This is what he's actually good at. Telling a story told from multiple points of view with unique character voices. He's showing us another version of DC's Force of July, a perpetually failing 5-member team of patriotic superheroes that they always fail. They're like C-listers. And I know he's doing this over on Danger Street as well. This is Tom King's thing. He takes a Z-lister and he takes a few of them, puts them into a box and shakes it up and lets them then lets them fight, or then just like shit like that. But this is actually a good use of Tom King's superpowers, because I feel that the Force of July have always been tragic and have always been, if you're going to use the Force of July, there's a lot of pathos involved because they are literally pathetic. I mean, you feel sorry for them. They've made bad choices. They've been given a bad deal, a bad hand. They've earned it. They're all and they get put back together again, like in Reservoir Dogs, like assembling the bank job team. It's like, and Penguin's forcing them to get back together to be his new goon squad. It works. I liked it. I like that a lot. And also, I'm going to give him a high five and kudos for Wonder Woman #2. Art by Daniel Sampere. It's Wonder Woman Legacy number 802. And it's got a now and then fight scene. So it's got this... What happened? Well, Amazon attacks happened. That too. Amazon attacks would be, if I was buying these and filing these in my long boxes, it would go Wonder Woman's 1 and 2 by Tom King, and then Amazon attacks #1 by Josie Campbell, and then I would be filing them like that after. So it would be 3-2, 4-3, until the mini of Amazon ends. And it's like here in Medias Res, there's been Tom King, but using his superpowers. You know what I mean? But this one's this is about these are just decent story beats and stuff. This is okay. It shows Diana as a teenager in the arena versus a gladiator, and this is like her test of Amazonia, and like she's the masked warrior, and everyone's supposed to pretend we don't know it's Princess Diana, Queen Hippolyta's daughter, under that silver mask, or with that hair. You know what I mean? I think it's an interesting meta commentary on secret identity. But by the end, Diana has won by the end, because in the second, in the net, that's the then. So now we come to now. What happened in Medias Res? An Amazon has killed some people in America, and now all Amazons are being deported and demonized. And so it's like USA versus Themyscira right now. And it's like, so it's supposed to be, but it's being, the strings are being pulled higher up by a malevolent and patriarchal and potentially just colonial, all this. thus begins the stupidities and the overthinkings of our funny books, which. But this as a single issue, I mean, totally works. It's really good and great art, decent story. Like I said, I other Tom King books I've liked, specifically was Omega Men #1. I'm a Kyle Rayner fan, and I fell for that. But he does that. He's just cheap parlor tricks, right? But he's a competent storyteller. He has an audience. He's got a good agent. His mom is an executive at Warner Brothers. You know what I mean? So he sells. He sells. He's got a face for it. He's a face. Fucking A. The kid's a baby face. You know what I mean? Someone like Ethan Van Sciver is total heel versus that baby face in this grand kayfabe of comic book storytelling. Namaste. But yeah, so I said 2 good things about Tom King this week. Have you? There's the Beast Boy Tales of the Titans, not the Teen Titans. They've grown up. Tales of the Titans #4, 2023. It's 4 of 4. It's a mini. The other 3 Titans focused upon were Raven, Donna Troy, and Starfire. And oh boy, it's right on the cover. Here they are, the traumatic secrets of Garfield Logan. That's all this story is just trauma, trauma, trauma. Well, he was traumatized. Garfield Logan, our Beast Boy, a green little buddy. You know him if you grew up watching the Teen Titans TV show, the cartoon Teen Titans Go. You know our Teen Titans. These are our Teen Titans. They're just a little grown up. I love it that the generation under me, we share archetypically the same Teen Titans. The Wolfman Perez Teen Titans. Whether it's in the comic book of the early 80s or it's the cartoon of the 2000s. You know what I mean? That's just... We got 2... And that just... They're archetypically, they're the same characters. It's fun. And but this one just goes just short. Long story short, Gar is protecting the Justice League in Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, the huge event, and he's protecting the Justice League have been killed, and now the bad guys are all teaming up, and it's their time to strike. And so Gar's protecting the Titans Academy, I think, and Deathstroke shoots him right in the head. Right in the eye. And he survives. Gar survives. He can because he's a changeling. He can move. There was a very that was injury. That was an insult. And in the medical terminology, he was he was gravely hurt. He had been hospitalized. And when he regained consciousness, he had to cope after that. And so this is one of those good trauma coping issues. I think I make too much of a big deal myself about trauma in comic books because sometimes I feel like it cheapens the word and the experience. Again, I was been diagnosed with PTSD in 2020 after from my therapist, from my doctor, my literal doctor diagnosed me after a traumatic event at my workplace where my best work friend dropped dead of a heart attack on a Thursday morning at 10:30. We're putting lunch out. I mean, that's life and that's death. But I held Scotty's hand and I didn't leave his side and he didn't make it. And so trauma. Yeah. And I've seen some stuff before that too. When I was 15, I literally watched an Asian woman and her infant baby get gunned down on their doorstep, and then by a guy with a gun in the middle of a street when I was 15. And it was a family squabble over money. And I can still hear her shout, and I can still hear the balloon pop, or I thought it was firecrackers. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Yeah, I mean, that's trauma. Yeah, so trauma is real. I mean, people suffer from it, then people suffer from it after that. I mean, you're a survivor and you have to deal with this stuff. It's not only just the, there's an external and then there's an internal. So, but I just think, like, especially in comics, especially starting with Batman too. I mean, Superman never had a traumatic story. Batman's a completely trauma-based, tale of resilience. That's, maybe that's why I've outgrown Batman and more, embrace Superman now. Because it's like I'm done processing my trauma, and I just don't want like younger. I wouldn't like feel, trauma being sold to younger people as trauma is not healthy, when it's just things to get through. I mean, trauma is very specific. Trauma, people legitimately deal with trauma the way they deal with diabetes or asthma or whatever that they're taking care of. It is what it is. So I see that right on the front cover. It says trauma. And Beast Boy's dealing with trauma, and he's talking with a version. He's like fighting with a werewolf. He's living with Raven. Well, good on you, Gar. They're in love, and they're moving back to Titan's Tower, and it's their last night, and they're like in the forest. And he's Beast Boy. He likes to swim. He likes to become, ever since his big injury, he can't become a big animal anymore. And Raven, being a telepath, wants to, it's like, I'm not gonna like read your mind. You're gonna figure this out. So maybe young people need to hear that and shit and be told after lockdown to go into the outdoors, go swimming, go run barefoot in the grass. So I'm trying to take some good stuff out of this comic book. It was pretty, I don't want to say mid or meh. That sounds so negative. It was fine. It was perfectly acceptable. I've known Gar Logan for as long as I've known Bobby Drake and Danny Rand and all these comic book characters. So when you make changes to comic book characters out of the blue after decades of just like typicity, that's where I don't think it's the identity thing or even the preference. I think it's the part that you felt permission to change a character. Like after so much, it's not authentic and it's not genuine. This is an authentic and genuine Garfield Logan. This is an issue. This is a story about my old friend. I appreciated this in hindsight, and probably the best of the bunch. I read all 4. It's going to make a nice collection for any new Titans fan or any old Titans fan or any Teen Titans fan. See how they grew up. They're all still friends. They're all still hanging out together. They're all still a team. Friendship is magic. I'm not a brony. I did not read Steelworks by the by TV's Michael Dorn, and it's got a lot of it's a Superman tale, and I got issue 1. See, the first 2 pages are okay. So this looks very very digitally. I'm so grateful for that pause button. Like I just stood up for a second and readjusted my manhood, and I looked up and I'm like, are we rolling? Post hernia surgery. You have to work what? Okay, well, it's Steelworks number 5. I picked up the first issue, if you remember, a couple of months back. I was overwhelmed with digitalitis and the color purple and stuff. I don't care that John Henry Irons is stooping Lana Lang. I'm all for it. She's a hot, smart, powerful redhead. I mean, and she's pretty, and green eyes and freckles, and I could spend all day counting them on her shoulder in the sunlight as we dissect the morning paper and coffee, and the puppy nips at her toes and she giggles. I'll take him for a walk. You lay there and wait for me. I'm romantic. What do you want? Oh boy, Lana Lang's Superwoman. She kind of got this really cool looking electric red. Electric red means something in Superman lore. It means Electric Blue and Electric Red Superman were parts of 90s Superman stuff. So I think that's canonically like there's a lot of blah blah and talking, but we finally get the origin of our big bad, and apparently the guy worked. There's a chain of events where this guy, lost everything, wanted to self-delete and was walking into traffic and was saved by steel. John Henry Irons, you know what I mean, and the steel suit, and that classic version 1, the big red cape, the hammer, you know what I mean, just like that. And now years later, he wants to revenge. Like he's part of the big revenge plan or something. But I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's. I'm glad I'm not really. I'm glad I'm not buying it. It's nice to pay attention to. And then there's a Superman team up. And then there's going to have to be. But the Steels are going to have to save the day. So you have Natasha Irons, is his niece, who's also Steel. So there are 2 Steels. Yes. and Superwoman. It's good. It's nice. I mean, it's okay. I mean, the story's fine. It reads like a 90s comic book, and that was 20 pages of story and art. Okay. And it reads like a 90s comic book, but also the panel placements and pacing were very 90s as well in a way. That was a decent superhero comic book. And that's DC Comics this week. Except, okay, oh no, we got 2. Oh, the best of. All right, well, the much ballyhooed, we heard about it since last week, got blocked on Twitter by its writer, Tim Sheridan, all for the honor of talking about this new release, Alan Scott, The Green Lantern #1, 2023. 2 things about this. One, there was a foil variant available at my local comic book shop, my LCS, on Wednesday, new release day. I could have got it because I love a foil variant. Tim Sheridan himself kind of sold me on that foil variant because he's like, that was really a nice way, that was nice of him to try to, pitch the comic. Everything else was totally just low class and low, just not, you know what, it's just not appropriate for pitching a DC comic. I mean, because I made the conscious choice not to buy that because of his video now. Because, I mean, that's uncalled for. But I read it. Okay. It's funny because we have these 1936 scenes that set up 1941. Okay. That's only 5 years. And then, so those past flashback scenes are done with the Ben-Day dot filter, as to oppose them as it being the more clearer now. I think and then there's a flash forward to another time in between. It's in, maybe because it's in his diary, because I mean, is there, because in 1936, that's like, when the red energy like kills Alan Scott's boyfriend, apparently. Maybe it's like this. This the same story note follows in Earth 2, on the New 52, in 2012. Alan Scott and his Alan Scott proposes to his boyfriend on a train. There's like this huge big engineering deal, and then the train wrecks, and he somehow that's where he becomes imbued with the power of the Green Lantern on his Earth. It's been a while since I read that. I got that in the long boxes, but so it goes from 1936 to 1941, where Alan Scott's being blackmailed into, being some kind of, secrets, into giving his secrets to J. Edgar Hoover of the FBI, who will out him as being gay in the 1940s. Headlines ripped hot from Watchmen. Yeah. If you never picked up on Watchmen and the Minutemen, and those like Silver Age adventures, there's plenty of gay coding in that. You seek and ye shall find. And then it ends with this scene where it could be about conversion therapy at Arkham Asylum. It's not specific. It's not. Maybe it's got to do with his trauma of seeing, or his contact with the red entity. I mean, my first instinct was not to go right there. I didn't want to go there first. I knew about it historically. There's some things in the 20th century called gay conversion therapy, where homosexuality was in the big book of medical diagnoses. It was a mental disorder. This is 20th century. We've come a long way. So like I said, this could be a good example to juxtapose change and to be like, wow, you have a person that was that back then who's still here now. What stories would they tell? And how would they? It wasn't a completely terrible issue, but I can't buy it because the writer blocked me on Twitter because I was on a list. Yeah, I would be a sucker if I bought that. But I would also have been a sucker if I had bought the other one. On the same day, very Wednesday, there's a reprint of Adventure Comics number 16, cover date July 1940, for $6.99. It's the first appearance of the Golden Age Alan Scott Green Lantern. And I held it in my hands and I'm like, oh, wow, I almost fell for it. I almost fell for that. But what four-dimensional chess is that? What 4D chess, as we like to say? Like what thinking from DC Comics? If I were to pick that Adventure 16 up out of spite for Tim Sheridan, I almost did. I almost fell for the the Earth 3 opposite of what his appeal was to his white hats and good guys. I almost, because I don't have it. I love these facsimile editions from DC Comics. I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. These are great windows into the past. I love, I still just might. You never know. But at that moment, I would have been buying it because I shut my wallet off and my heart and off to Tim Sheridan's version here because of his spite. Wow, huh? But I almost fell for that. What 4D chess? But yeah. Also, is Batman, Catwoman, the Gotham War, the Red Hood, issue number 2, which I think it's kind of like a part 4.5 of the Gotham War. Written by Matthew Rosenberg. It's really decent cartoony pencils. I kind of like it. I almost bought this. And I've got a Jason Todd stack on my spinner rack, and it might belong there. I don't like the new Jason Todd look or his accoutrements, but I do like the white shock of hair. And Matthew Rosenberg wrote another Joker book recently called Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing. Is it canonical? Is it not? I have no idea. I don't care. Maybe I'll get back to it. Maybe I won't. What little have I seen with it? It's been okay. I mean, it's got some Francisco Francavilla art, like a backup feature. That's interesting. I love his art. He usually inks and colors his own stuff. So, and he's it's really cartoony and expressive and dramatic. Good sense of light source and richness and just, yeah, Francavilla is great. But it was the Gotham War, Red Hood #2. Matthew Rosenberg's writing a really good Joker. Like every time, this is a compliment from me to a magazine. We're gonna hear this a few more times, but when I can hear the character's voice in the bubble, that's a win. And I could hear Mark Hamill's Joker in Matthew Rosenberg's Joker when Joker comes to save Jason Todd from Scarecrow. In the burning building where he was saving that little girl and having his newfound fight or flight conditioning tested. So far, I mean, Jason Todd's been the bright light of Gotham War. Maybe he's the whole point of it. Batman totally messed with Jason Todd. He Clockwork Oranged him. He gave him some kind of some treatment that makes Jason have panic attacks if he's to commit violence, just like Alex of the Droogs in the William Burgess story. Dude, I'm serious. And those are DC Comics this week. Wow, that took a minute. That took a hot minute. That's great. Let's see, where were we? We're at Marvel Comics, and I got a little long in the tooth there. So let's do some just go go up the list real quick for starting at X alphabetically, and work our way up. And X-Men: Days of Future Past, Doomsday 4 of 4 by Mark Guggenheim. He's got a penciler, he's got an inker, Garcia and Smith, and this thing really works. I like it. It was fun. I'm glad I was tuned into it. I still need to find issue #2. I'm on the hunt. I will get that this week, I think. It'll give me something to do in the last weeks of my convalescence. I'm out for 2 more weeks. Doctor's orders. I can't lift anything more than 10 pounds for 6 weeks. With what I do for a living, I mean, I shouldn't mess with that. 50-pound sacks of potatoes, that's Friday, when roast potato day. Do that 4 times a day. I do. It's called going to work. I'm a chef. People love roast potatoes, and like I like to say, made by the Irishman. But I'm a Yank. Go figure. I was raised in an Irish home. We have Uncanny Spider-Man number 2. That was fun. Cy Spurrier wrote that. The arts are, look at what I was saying. It's was this kind of lockdown proof? Is this the lockdown proof art that we got from comics? I mean, when we couldn't rely upon pencil or inker, when it was pencils down, was it stylus up? That's what I'm asking. We ask questions here. I don't have any answers. All I have are more questions. We have the Uncanny Avengers written by Jerry Duggan, which I really dug the hell out of this issue. He's got some really good Captain America dialogue. Seriously, Captain America has like a sermon to the people of New York and talking about the value of getting along and meeting in the middle. Very Captain America. But again, just this was, issue number 3. And having a lot of fun with this. I love Deadpool as Deadpool. Duggins wrote a lot of Deadpool. It's an interesting team full of of X-Men and Avengers. and you got like dead. It opens up with shooting practice on Ellis Island of all places, where the Statue of Liberty is, and it's Deadpool hanging out with Black Widow, who's blindfolded and practicing her sniper shot on pumpkins, who may or may not have Iron Man and Hulk faces. And then there's Psylocke, there's Quicksilver, there's Captain America, and Monet St. Croix. I mean, what's her code name? It's in the info page. Info page has Penance. Really? Monet is Penance. That's how long I've been out of X-Men, huh? I barely know Monet. I wasn't that tuned into the X-Men for a while, but I know who she is. I know she's got a really big power set. But I know that Penance used to be Speedball back. That was his consequence for his role in Civil War I, blowing up Nitro like that. DC, Marvel Comics, right? But yeah, I really enjoyed. There's a really nice Captain America scene in here. It goes on for a few pages, and I'm here for that. And we have some shipping between Monet and Pietro, which is cute because that's like team stuff. Why not? B story, soapy melodramatic beats. Okay, we got Star Wars Dark Droids #2. That's a $4.99 comic book, which is about 20 pages of story and art, maybe 21 pages if you count the credits page that has the info bomb. Does that count? I think that counts. Well, they count this as a page. So here in this file, it says one of 23 pages on this first page here. It's $4.99. It's the cover. So the cover counts as a page. So does the info dump credits page. And so does the final page with the indicia and the preview art of the next issue, cover art, and your Dark Droids checklist. We have 13 more issues, 12 after today. It's droids, yeah. This one's written by Charles Soule. No, but this one's written by Mark Guggenheim as well. So Guggenheim and Soule have been like standouts on these Star Wars, I feel. I've had to read two. I had to read two Yu Eliza Wong books this week. It's Dr. Aphra and the Purple World of marginalized folks, and this is okay. This is one of 23 pages. So you're getting 20 to 21 pages of story and art. Maybe that's story and art. Actually, that cover art is cover art. That's art. That has to count. The preview of next month's cover, that's got art. Yeah, I'm just saying content and the inside, not cover. Or I'm not here to split here. It's $4.99 for those 23 pages though of Alyssa Wong written dialogue and events. Yeah, this is for I think this is just written for college girls or smart girls. I'm not sure. See, it's just it sounds so negative when I frame stuff like that. It's simply not made for me. I mean, I wish that. Is there a Star Wars comic book that was made for me? And I'll say right now, okay, sure. It's the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi adaptation. I'm liking that so far. I can read that. It's probably going to be more enjoyable than the show. Watching the show and investing, I feel like it's a better investment of time and story, and it's already been spoiled for me. I already know everything that's going to happen, but it can be at least divorced a little bit from how it was shot and presented, as in live action. Now I don't have to depend on that. I get I don't have to look at this child actor, who looks legitimately a little too young to be 10. So that was, I'm not even a parent. There was Realm of X by Torin Grunbeck. It's very purple, it's an all-girl X team. So it's got to be, it's exactly what South Park says in the Panderverse. It's a purple stone that makes everything purple, and you got to make everything more queer, and you got to make everything about girls, more queer. It's just the Realm of X is Panderverse, X-Men Panderverse. I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm not gonna, I'd like to use that term, and not have someone be insulted. I think if you're gonna be insulted by me saying something's Panderverse from going forward, that's a great use of Panderverse, justifying, of culture justifying your oversensitivity. As a spiritual person, getting over oneself is means you're on the path to enlightenment. That means you've let go of that little facet of your own ego. Why is that annoying you? How do you feel that way? Where did you get such entitlement? Predator versus Wolverine 2, written by Ben Percy. Excellent issue. Starts off in the now and heads back to not too far ago, many years ago, and he's got bone claws, but he's still with Sabretooth, and he's on it's called Team X, is Maverick, and there's actually a whole team of these predators, and it seems as though that it's the same. One of these predators has been following him, Logan, all this time, and then there's another time where he comes in at a fourth time now, because there was that late 1800s one that we saw issue 1, and now comes a predator. It ends with a couple of pages of a predator entering a secret facility, and it ends up being it looks like the Weapon X facility, because there's Logan lying comatose in a bed with all of these red and blue hoses, and we know what that means. It's iconic. This is when Wolverine becomes adamantium laced at Weapon X. This is a really good use of the characters, and this is a fun mashup of two unrelated properties, like Predator and Aliens, Ed O'Bannon Xenomorph Aliens, the H.R. Geiger, Ridley Scott, James Cameron Aliens, the Xenomorph. Those play very well with so many other, I'm continually impressed that sometimes these mashups can be just a little better than what's going on at the moment. If you want a comic book that's made for a comic book fan, I give you Predator versus Wolverine, something that's clearly not made for the Panderverse or in the Panderverse, distributed because of the Panderverse. That is made. This is high octane rock and roll action. Ms. Marvel #3. Cutesy. It's fine. I hope it finds its audience. Here's one that I almost bought. If I could have found the there was a there's a variant cover. I thought there was there's a Lionel Francis Hugh variant cover. If I find that, I'll buy it. For $5.99, the anthology Marvel Zombies, Black, White, and Blood, where we have an anthology of Marvel Zombies happens in its own world. It's this really fun alternate universe where a zombie apocalypse came, and it's last survivors versus zombified versions of all of our favorite heroes and enemies. It's pretty fun. It's fun. Especially during like the peak of it was one of the first waves in the peaks of the zombie craze in the past, say, 2 decades. But because there's been a lot of zombie stuff in the past couple of years, in the past couple of decades, within the past 2 decades, in the 21st century, there's been a lot of zombie stuff. So, but it starts off with Undefeated, a Garth Ennis written story. The artist is Rachel Stott, and it's just black and white art embellished with red. In this, we've seen this before. Star Wars, Darth Vader, red, white, and red. When we showed those off, and Batman, black and white, and Harley Quinn, black, white, and red, or something like that. I mean, I like these anthology style books because they give such a more distilled version of characters, and they're meant for someone who might not know what's going on right now, but everyone can enjoy it, hopefully. All you need to know is that, like, I was never the biggest fan of Marvel Zombies, but all I need to know is that this happens in the Marvel Zombies universe. And from there, you just go on. And I'm just going to talk about, you should go out and buy this one. This is fun. I spent $32 this week at the shop. We'll get to that in just a minute. We'll see what I bought. I bought 5 new floppies this week. Came up to about $32.05. That's what I spent no supplies. I didn't, I'll go back again. I need to go to the square on Monday. But it's about zombie Daredevil, Matt Murdock, in this underground fight club. And it's just despicable. Like, they have the humans keep Daredevil in chains, and they feed him body parts, and then use him as a cage fighter in an underground fight club, and Frank Castle visits him one fateful night, and just Frank appeals to Matt. There's a Matt still inside of you. You know who I am, and I'm talking to you. If you're still in there, Matt. And it's Frank. And this is a Garth Ennis written Frank Castle Punisher story in the age where Frank Castle has been editorially neutered and maligned. I don't think we ever see the Punisher logo. Do we? It would be such a jip if we didn't. Oh, Sully, don't say jip. That's really bad. No, he doesn't identify himself as Punisher, and he's just represented by a complete stark white outline with no definition. There's such fine pencil work in here. He's left a complete blank, and we only see him for a few panels. He's got the iconic hair and everything, and you just see the rifle on his back and his duster. But he's absence of detail, absence of ink. He's just an outline. He's a blank outline. So we don't even. So I was wondering, like, if you're wondering, did they use his iconic logo? No. But he flipped that completely. In a world of death and madness, Frank Castle is a blank. Because the whole world is like Frank Castle now. But he appeals to the Matt that's still inside the zombie. And he stuffs him full of explosives. And this is Frank on the job, taking care of bad people, all the bad guys that will be at the fight club, and betting, and with their hookers and their drugs and their traffickings. Kaboom! It's so very Daredevil. It's so very Punisher to do. And remember, Garth Ennis is a prolific contributor to, writer of Punisher, Frank Castle, and contributor to his story. Marvel's Unleashed #3, my least favorite of these so far, and hope it wraps up next issue. The fun's over, I guess. Just like, yeah, it was cute for 2 issues. Maybe it would have been better if you could have collapsed it down to, I mean, here we, again, once again, I posit the question of, is this an example of the illusion of marketplace by publishing a floppy? Was it necessary to publish this serialized? Wouldn't this have been better in a tankobon format, published going right to the direct market? No, I liked it. I looked at it. I read it, but I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy the trade. It's not me. It's cutesy. It's fun. It really is. I got tired of it quick though. We got Jean Grey, issue 3 of 3. This makes issues 1 and 2 make more sense. It's written by Louise Simonson, someone that's got a lot of experience writing the voice and mind of Jean Grey. So this has been, it's a little bit like Slaughterhouse-5. Billy Pilgrim is unstuck in time. So is Jean Grey. It's like she's seeing different permutations of the world if she had made different choices. So or maybe it's a bit more like Star Trek's Next Generation, or it's the chicken and the egg. Well, the chicken and the egg. No, that's a different one. Well, the one where Picard chooses not to fight the Nausicaan and he has a different life. That one. Blue shirt Picard. Immortal Thor #3, fine, safe as milk. It's the worst thing you can say about a comic book, and it's safe. But it's product, and it's just enjoyable story, and it's written for the trade, and it's Hallows Eve night. We have a Halloween themed issue, right near the end of October. Hope it sells. This Hallows Eve is some dark rain, Spider-Man adjacent mystic baddie, something like that. Here's one I enjoyed: Dark X-Men #3 of 3, written by Steve Fox. It's the Dark X-Men. They're fighting goblins and demons and shit. And here's one of the cases where. But this one, okay, $3.99, but for 26 pages of story and art, which include the covers and the info dump page. Info dump page is 2, because 1 contains the indicia. And but this had Gambit sounding like Gambit. I could hear Gambit in my head. Who played Gambit in the animated series? Chris Potter. Yeah, as Remy LeBeau, 1992 to 1997 on Fox Saturday mornings, and then in endless repeats in syndication. How old was I in 1992? I'll be turning 20 years old that November. So here I am as a lifelong X-Men fan at 20 years old, a grown-up, watching this show for at least the next 5 or 6 years. I don't rightly recall watching the final season. I know that I've seen a bunch of it. It's so poorly animated. Something happened in the production quality. There's a big story there. And actually, I know some podcasters that are covering X-Men in the animated series along with the showrunner creators. It's going to be fun. And if you want to I'll let you know who it is. Let me know in the chat. I'll get to that a little later this week. But I'm having fun reading Dark X-Men as a lifelong X-Men fan. this has been nice to tune into. Captain Marvel #1, written by Alyssa Wong. Oh God, just uh, purple girls and well, girls like purple comic books. Maybe that's it. Girls only like comic books if they have purple in it. I don't know. There's Captain America #2, written by J. Michael Straczynski, art by Jesus Jesusies. It's $4.99, and it claims 25 pages of story and art. So remember that compared to, everything else. And it's a little on the nose, especially with current events, and which is one of the huge kind of like superhero comic book ironies or sci-fi ironies. Sometimes there's a predicts the future somehow, some way, and the end of this specific issue was written, drawn, produced, and published. Printed and distributed right before everything that was going on in the Middle East last week, and you know what I mean. So I'm wondering if there was just a few days difference, would this comic have been withheld? Let me know. Alpha Flight #3. I heard this is a limited series of 5. I'm fine with that, but also I'm fine being familiar with this book and story because I'm an X-Men fan, and it's nice to have X-Men stories to read. And this is perfectly fine. It doesn't seem very Panderverse. All right, so I like that. And then I'm going to end the digital pirate chest with Amazing Spider-Man #36, written by Zeb Wells, art by the amazing Ed McGuinness. The art in this is really good. 23 pages long. That includes the covers and the info dump page. So that could be 20 pages of comic books, 20 pages of funnies. I'm just saying. It's for $4.99, and this title just raised $1. This was a $3.99 comic book until last month. Now, this is the new Marvel going forward. We're going to sell, and remember, Amazing Spider-Man is still Marvel Comics' flagship title. Ooh, had to get up again. You don't want your boys falling asleep post hernia or ever. But, and there's a mail, there's a letters page on here too, right? Is there? I thought there was supposed to have been a letters page. They got rid of the letters page already? Or is it the letters page not counted? I wonder. Ooh. Yeah, but still, that's the future of comic books at $4.99 for 20 pages of funnies. I will be fair. It seems the minimum here is 23 pages, which is counting the outside cover, which is art written. The inside last page, which is preview art of the next cover, and sometimes and the indicia. And then there's one page, could be in the front page, could be a few in. And sometimes it could be 2 pages. DC sometimes takes up 2 pages. You know what I mean? But Superman's a big story. It needs 2 pages. With the info dump, the logo. Marvel does a thing with cast of characters, which is, I find that to be more helpful than negative distraction. I know memo pages kind of suck, but I'm a big fan of those, like that Silver Age thing with all the faces and all the nameplates. Yeah, if you got a lot of characters in a book, that's why they call it, expository dialogue. You're always, reminding the reader like who this person's code name and stuff. But is ASM worth $4.99 for a silly cartoony tale? It's it's probably the levity before the seriousness of gang war. So let's be fair to it. It's kind of one and done-ish. It returns to the dark web kind of thing. Or is that dark web? And he's got a bizarro. There's a bizarro Spidey out there from the Demonverse, I guess, who's got his own Sinister Six. And then there's so it's got like, if you know what's going on in Marvel Comics, like right now with other titles, you'd know that it's playing with like Dark X-Men, or it's playing with, this or that. Like Miss Marvel's playing with Iron Man and X-Men. It's maybe it's group editor. I don't know, but the Spider titles are just like, yeah, and the Spider titles, there's I gotta give it to Nick Lowe. That's a pretty well-oiled machine. There's a lot, but I don't know. ASM is still the flagship title of Marvel Comics. Oh boy, let's get to some funny books. What's in the bag? What's in the bag? We come to that part of the show where we see what we've bought at the local comic book shop. That's right. Ha ha! Huzzah! Thank you so very much for hanging in this long. It's the Sunday magazine special. It's the Sunday funnies. We are the Comics Coffee Table. Pull up a chair, grab a cuppa. Whatever it is you're shoving under your nose today. Pal. Sizzle chest. Chowder head. Turkey pockets. However you identify in this grand spectrum of humanity. On this planet Earth and beyond, you are welcome here. Huzzah. Pull up a chair, grab a cuppa. Let's take our break together. Let's see what we got. Got 5 funny books this week. Got retweeted by the writer of one of them. We're showing off some cover art. Here we go. This is what I bought. This is what I spend my money on. Or this is what I can spend my money on. Look, this is a $3.99 comic. All right, and it concludes the story. It's part 4 of 4, and it's $3.99 for 25 pages. So you're getting 22 pages of, or maybe 21, because you have that double spread, that 2-page. Yeah. Oh, so that's okay. So this would have 21 pages of what we would consider story and funnies, not cover, not funnies. There's a little bit of math to do there, because then there's more pages over these. Now, when I'm saying of 20 pages, and that out of this, like this clip, 25 pages for $3.99. All right. But then when you buy it, there are more pages in here. Those are the 5 or 6 ad pages. 5, because there's 6 additional pages. This is usually, that's what it looks like. The inside cover is for ad space. The back cover is for ad space. So that's art. That's art and story in a way, because also that's in the Indicia page. We're showing off 141 and 142, these 1980 X-Men comics that changed the game. It's been 44 years later, and we're still basing all of our arguments off of this stuff, and we're still revisit it, and it's been nice. See the inside cover? We look at comic books here. We haven't, What are the ads here? Okay, this is a house ad for the upcoming Thunderbolts #1. Is that right? This is fresh this week. Thunderbolts #1. Why is Black Widow and Winter Soldier? I can see Winter Soldier being a Thunderbolt if he did something bad. But Shang-Chi? I don't know. White Widow. I love Sentinels. They're so it's just Sentinels just like are a great representation, of just maybe not even evil, but of apathy used by evil. Imagine if apathy was used by the good. Have we ever thought about using that? What if we, why aren't we using Sentinels to go out there and go farming and to deliver people pizzas? Seriously, like think about it, man. So yeah, well, this is fun. Okay, spoilers. All right. No, let's not spoil it. Go in and enjoy it, especially if you're a fan of X-Men 141, 142. Take it as it is. I mean, I like the ending. It lands. It makes sense to me. And the dream lives on. To me, my X-Men. Let's do it. I like that. Like I told you, I got and remember, only big two comics such as DC Comics and Marvel Comics like really ever had those as advertisements as print periodicals. He make a big deal of advertisements and ad space and the insincerity of modern comics not knowing who their audience is on the shelf, such as even compared to Teen Vogue and Mademoiselle and Cosmopolitan, heck, and National Geographic is folding as a magazine. That's not a pun. That is not a pun, and it's not good news either. And it's a print publication. I mean, we should be worried about that as well. We shouldn't be. I mean, it's the print industry. I mean, at least these characters and the medium the genre, the storytelling, the art of the storytelling called comics can, that can transcend the magazine business. Inside cover. That's like a house ad. Back cover. It's like a house ad. Inside cover. It's from Warner Brothers. That's a house ad. Last page. DC Nation has the indicia. Yet, I like this. I overall, yeah, I liked the backup features as well in this. Because they both start off new. There's no luggage, no continuity. Let's see. Yeah, our artist is Rafael Sandoval, and the artist is Philip Kennedy Johnson. And 45 pages. $4.99. Hey, look, Supers. Super Kids. This is what it's all about. You don't know who Bibbo is. You might need to, just read some more old Superman comic books. You don't know who the twins are. You need to read some more recent comic books, Superman comic books. Here is a Superman YA book coming out. A new graphic novel for young adults coming this October. Written and drawn by Cena Grace, of whom I've never read a story of theirs before in my life. So I got no I got no skin in that game. I'm not, but wow, it's all house ads. That's right. Here's your. Is that Joker 1 operation I was talking about? And there's a that Superman versus Mishi. It's funny stuff, man. And it's just like Superman and food. But I just want to say there's been some Chinese alternates, and that's Chinese Superman, Keenan Kong, and that's the Batman of China, of who am I seeing over on Batman Incorporated, right? And he's a little bit body positive, isn't he? That's a plus size rounder person, right? I would say I kind of think that's funny, and I liked the Keenan Kong short in here, and I liked the use of Cat Grant and Steve Lombard. I mean, they've been enduring characters in Clark's life, in Action Comics. So this was all right. I mean, just like it was, it's fine, funny book, but they're $4.99 now. Not so fun. Wrap this up. We got The Plot Points by Sean Murphy, which is great, but I'm like basically buying it to buy it, and I think I'll read it later, and because I have like some funny books to file. But Rare Flavors by Ram V and Philippe Andrade. Interesting. It's about cooking, and it's about food, and this is just such a. This reminds me of the hand of Milo Manara and of Jean Girard, the Mobius. This is so very European. I hope this sells very well in collections internationally. And how easy this would be to, cross cultures and re-letter in different languages. I hope this is a real success. But for me personally, I'm in love with this magazine and this floppy because, like I said, I tell about everything. It's why bother with a floppy? Well, I guess I'm going to answer my own question right here in these hands with this very funny book. The coloring. Now, I make the biggest deal about coloring, but this has got such a select palette, and it's so vibrant. And this is not on a display being backlit. This is on a page, printed with ink and with precision. Those colors don't bleed. Those just like, this is a really good paper reproduction. Really, huh? I mean, like, I love art. Like, this is beautiful. And then it gets into cooking, and then it has recipes. And he's like, and it's about your senses and about just, I'm a chef. How could I not fall for this? Look at this beautiful, look at this quirky art. Yeah, people sitting around food and just talking, huh? And then I got this. This is a distillery. They're a new publishing company, and this age of writer artists owning their own property and being a vehicle for them to get published and distributed. And so yeah, it's like, okay, sometimes this is a creative kind of union in a way, creating studios or bands or tribes or gangs or units or cells but it's more of like, together we can get published and distributed at a greater power than alone. And this is an $8.99 single issue, 48 pages long, all of story and art and indicia. Let's look at the indicia. Look at this cardstock. Here's the indicia. Here's your masthead. This is distillery. Here's our Jock. If you know your DC Comics, you know Jock. And if you don't know Jock, you don't know Jack. But it's interesting. It's an issue 1. It's an interesting. It's just I have to really spend some time reading it. But what I do like is that it's a little bigger than a conventional comic. It goes to that almost Euro style of just European comics are just a little bigger. It's just looking at my shelf to see, do you have any Euro comics? But we got to wrap this up. And those are the comic books for this week. I'm sorry I got so long in the tooth. This hanging out on a Sunday morning, talking about lots of new comic books. Thank you for giving me the excuse to hang out with you and talk with you about comic books. God bless, namaste, good luck, happy Halloween, and we will see you. And like and subscribe, turn on those notifications, and go to your local comic book shop and buy some new comic books. Take a chance, put some paper in your hand, put aside some time to read. It's some really good personal me time. Nothing says me time like reading a funny book. You heard it here from a spiritual dude. Thank you so very much. God bless, namaste, good luck. We will see you again in those funny pages. Ciao, bye-bye.